when these animals come out of this crush, I try to have a look at them straight on, from the front angle, and we're looking at the claw set. So front foot claw set, rear foot claw set, front foot angle, rear leg side view and rear legs hind view. We're also doing a muscle score, which I guess is just a visual appraisal of the muscle pattern. All these animals get scanned, so they get EBVs for eye muscle area, fat depth and marbling. We're also doing a temperament score, and we're doing a sheath score, so obviously the looser the sheath, the more prone they are for getting injuries. We're doing a hair texture and hair retention score, which we've been doing for years. So I think it's sort of being looked at and worked on to see how they can use it. And these animals all get scored for degree of white, so obviously trying to get less white on them. And I've also created a grading score, which is just a 1 to 3 score. I go plus and minus, so 2 being just a good honest sale bull, and then I go up and back, higher for better and lower for not better. So when the bull comes out, I try and get a front-on look at his feet. So the scoring system, if you're not quite sure of it, is a 1 to 9 score, with 5 being ideal. And if I go above 5, that just means there's a bit of curl in the toes. If I go below 5, they're open and divergent. So very rarely do we bother going below 5. Most animals will be a 6. So very few are 5s. So a pretty good animal's feet are 6 for front foot claw set. So he's a typical 6 for front foot claw set, and the rear foot claw set is pretty typical 5. So you do get 5s in the rear feet a lot more often than the front feet. So we do the front foot claw set, rear foot claw set, front foot angle. As I said, the combination of depth of heel, strength of pass and length of feet. Same with hind feet angle. And then we do rear leg side view. So again, 1 to 9 score, 5 being ideal, which in my eyes, he is a 5 from side view, but he's a 6 from hind view. So 6 is when the hocks come in a little bit. Sheath size is a 1 to 5, with 5 being tight. So he's a typical 5. You can get tighter than that, but if you get much looser than that, you'd come into a 4. That information will go into breed plan and will give an indication on the bloodline or the sire line. So if you've got a dozen bulls by a sire and you cull 8 of them for feet, and if that information being put into the system, his brothers will have bad EBVs. So you'll know from EBVs within any sort of selection in any sort of situation that because it's a genetic analysis, it gives you an explanation of what you'd expect those animals to breed or how you'd expect them to breed. So anything that, if you've got a low milking herd and you want to improve milking, same thing, you then select for higher milking EBVs, but while you're doing that, whether it be for structure or milk or growth or muscle or whatever, you've got to try and balance it out, because if you sort of push too hard in one direction, then you'll miss out on something else. But in general these days, that much work's been put into the collection of all this information that depending on the herds, I guess, and on the people running it, on what different people have different ideas on what's more important, but that genetic information, while it's not foolproof, it's your best indicator of, if you want to select for something, that's your best indicator.